What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Oxygen Not Included Max difficulty episode. Last episode, we ended cycle 200 with our first death of Ruby, which we buried in the steam turbine room here with the Octuner. So Ruby will be forever embedded into our plant cooling system. Anyway, let's get going. So I realized in between episodes that it would actually be better for this Octuner to be on the left, but I've already got Ruby buried here, so I'm just gonna leave it how it is, and you know, we'll just deal with it from there. The main reason for that is because we're gonna need to set up, some sort of system on this Aqua Tuner that circulates the water till it's a certain degree, and then it pumps it out. And if you watch my last series of max difficulty, then you do that using a reservoir and some shutoffs and various things, which hopefully we can get set up this episode. One thing I have to remember to do is also set up a shutoff for the Aqua Tuner. That's right. So I need an automation shutoff for this Aqua Tuner. That way the line doesn't fully back up, I don't want to continuously produce cold water just forever. I want to produce it as long as the line isn't backed up, which will be somewhere around here. So we'll put a sensor on the pipe somewhere around here where if the line is backed up to that point, then we'll shut off the Aqua Tuner and stop the cool water production. We also need to set up a power outline for this Aqua Tuner, or the steam turbine. That way we can gather whatever energy it produces, whatever excess energy it produces, rather. Not like the most important thing, but it'll help in the long run, I think. So, but yeah, hopefully. There we go. We're getting tiny little bits of... one thing I forgot about this is we're going to need a mesh tile right here. And then that needs to be dug out. And that way the water can just drip all the way down. These actually need to be kind of high priorities. I mean, I guess not, because the water's just going to drip over here. But whatever. Let's just get it done. Let's just make sure it gets done. Our slicksters are still hanging out over here, which means they're going to be pooping petroleum and oil into our pool that's supposed to be water. But yeah, we've started to get things going. So why isn't this running? 75%, that's fine. A dupe doesn't have to operate this, right? It's got power. It's got water. Disabled by automation grid. Oh, that's right, because I set this to above when it should be below. And I corrected myself via text form in the last video, but I'm not sure you all saw it, but yeah, so as long as there's nothing here, then this will run. But as soon as oil makes it up to this point, which will then raise the pressure above 0, then it'll shut off and we'll stop producing oil. All right, as Ruby did die, we still have to bring in another duplicate, and I'm seriously trying to wait for a Ruby. And since none of these guys have learning, I want to get some with learning, and I'm being kind of picky, which I don't really need to be, but considering we lost Ruby, he was trained on like so many things, I want somebody with high learning. So they can up their skills a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to reject all again. How much ceramic do I have? I should have a lot. I was going to say I should have a lot, but I have like none. Pretty sure this is like a high priority. I don't have clay. Okay. That's right. I forgot. I have like no clay. So I guess we just dig out this stuff. That'll get me some clay. Let me make some more ceramic, because, I mean, we don't have to use ceramic for this, but we probably should. Snazzy suit, didn't I? Yeah, I equipped that to Liam, but Liam just does not want to wear it, apparently. I mean, to be fair, Liam did see that Ruby was dead, and it was Ruby's suit, so maybe Liam just doesn't want to wear a dead man's suit, A little bit of RimWorld crossover there. If you've never played crossover, or if you've never played a RimWorld, whenever you like take stuff from a dead person, it's got a modifier in it called dead man's clothing, like clothing, but dead man's clothing, and people don't like wearing dead man's clothing. So that was that reference. If you were unclear, I'm sure all of you know what RimWorld is. I don't know, maybe not. I've learned that. I just shouldn't assume things because I'm usually wrong. And one thing I don't have right now is an electrical engineer. So we're training Liam here, which is our builder, since Ruby died. on general engineer, which will then be able to pop them into electrical engineer just for a second or two, just long enough to build this turbine. We don't want to keep him there because we don't quite have the morale yet for it. You can see he's 12. Actually, that might be enough morale. What is it? Yeah, 12. It's just enough morale. And I believe, hold on here. I believe Liam has a sunny disposition, does he not? He does. So because Liam has a sunny disposition, we don't actually have to worry about him having a high morale, because the sunny disposition is going to be offsetting the fatalistic. You can see there. Negative 20% for sunny disposition, and fatalistic is 20%. And then we have the high morale, which is an additional negative 20%. We don't actually need that high morale on Liam, so we could leave him in a plus 12 morale position if we wanted to. There's not really any need to right now, so I'm probably not going to do it, because he does get stress from other sources, so having like negative 25% is a nice little buff there. So one issue with this water cooling system, which was in the back of my mind building it, but I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to operate. It's mainly that it's reliant on, you know, people working this metal refinery in order for the cooling to come through. That being said, it is nice and cool over here, and the metal refinery is going to be used a lot. This thing is going to be used a lot. I don't know why it's not being used more, actually, to be honest. I suppose this wheel is kind of messing things up. Let me put this at 50%, around 50%. So whenever this builds up, this little meter here is the natural gas that's building up. So when it builds up to 50%, a dupe will come unload that natural gas into this room. And one problem I have is that we've got chlorine, you know, on this side, so it's gonna like leak in every time we open the door. One thing we could do is replace this with the mechanized airlock and then hook power up to it. That way it's a little bit quicker. Or we could set up some kind of triple door system, which I think I'm going to do. They're not going to come in here very often, so I think I'm just going to do that. Make some igneous rock insulated tiles there. Now this doesn't protect from gas, you know, output perfectly. It's not a perfect airlock, but it does a fairly decent job at preventing, you know, gases from flowing in or out. Only a small amount is going to make it in. This pump is kind of working overtime, which, you know, maybe I shouldn't really worry about it. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should put a gas sensor right here. Say if there's natural gas, then we'll turn the pump on, you know what I mean? Wow, we've actually gone through quite a bit of our water. This thing is dormant. Okay, I remember this thing being dormant for a very, very long time. So one of the problems I think we're going to run into on this first little cycle here, not like cycle, but first little cycle of dormancy, is that we're going to run out of water because we spent so much time with this thing full that we weren't actually using the water, even though we had this system set up. That we're going to run empty by the time this thing starts producing again, which is why I was saying I maybe should have made this room bigger, but I think it'll balance out once we're constantly using the water. I'm hoping it'll balance out. All right, there's our triple lock little system, and this little oil at the bottom is actually helping us out a little bit, so I don't know if any actually made it through. I think some did, but it's actually blocking the gas on the bottom here, so only one tile of gas is actually popping in through this door, which is lowering the amount a little bit. So we should have an atmo sensor here as well, which means we need an AND gate. Oh, blah. Things are getting more complicated than they should have. So we'll do this, and we'll say atmo sensor up here. So not only does the atmosphere have to be above a certain point, but or the pressure to be above a certain point, but there also has to be just natural gas. So should have set that up from the beginning, but you know, sometimes these things, they don't really click until you see what's happening. Now we got to start planning our little oil seal here. Let me think here. These things always kind of get me. I think that is going to be it. Stick our bottle emptier right here, and then we'll start manually pumping oil over. Well, not pumping, but duplicants will be walking it over. One thing I haven't really looked at is decor, and my decor really isn't that great in a lot of places. I mean, it's good where we're eating and stuff, right? But that's kind of it. And I would like to improve it in other places. I haven't really touched my sort of living area in a long time. And I don't really have to. It might help a little bit with stress. I don't think anybody has low morale, though. Ellie has not, like, great morale, but it's fine. Liam is actually an 8 out of 8 right now. Last cycle's decor was mediocre. That's not horrible. +1. We could place Liam on a longer break here. The problem I have right now is that I lost a builder, right? Ruby was my main primary builder. That was our first builder. So Liam's having to do everything by himself. So if there's natural gas up here and the pressure is above 500, let's put it at 600 then. Pressure is above 600, then we'll start to pump out some of the natural gas into our system here. There's Rickster. I am under the impression that Rickster planned Ruby's death. Well, not just Rickster, but all the slicksters. The Rickster distracted me with his dancing, and the other slicksters trapped Ruby. I mentioned that Ruby was a hatch person, right? She liked hatches, and I think the slicksters were jealous, so they planned Ruby's death. Assassination. The assassination of Ruby by the slicksters. And you know what? I shouldn't pay too much attention to Rickster because he might be at it again. I can't afford to lose any more dupes to these slickster assassinations. Keep an eye on those slicksters. Perhaps we should lock them all in a cage somewhere. Maybe up towards this carbon geyser, carbon dioxide vent. Somewhere around here. And then we can turn them into slaves, make them work for us. You know, they're doing time for the murder of Ruby. Makes sense. Okay, we're now generating a lot more petroleum. So our petroleum's going up. And ideally, we would set up a petroleum factory or a natural gas factory, right? Converting the oil to natural gas or petroleum without the effort of a duplicant. But I currently haven't uncovered any volcanoes. And I also don't have access to niobium yet. Which will change very soon. Well, maybe not very soon. I was thinking cycle 300 before when I was starting to build my first rocket, but that's looking like it's not going to happen. With the death of Ruby, that set us back some. That set us back some. Oh my god, they built this one first. What in the world? Come on, you duplicants. On duplicants because they can't do things right. Overheat. Oh no. What did I build this out of? It's freaking gold. How hot is it in here? Why is this overheating? Wait. What's overheating? It's this. Okay. Deconstruct. Because I made it out of copper. Gas pump's fine. Gas pump's 100 degrees. Although, I forgot that this thing does generate quite a bit of heat. We're going to put radiant pipe here, so this 40-degree water is cooling down the general area there. That should counteract most of it, hopefully. I'm thinking I might want to make more of these pipes, radiant pipes, as well. Because I've just got like one on every shift plate, right? I mean, I guess it's doing its job. The surrounding temperature is pretty much the same as what's in the pipe. Over here, obviously, it's colder because it hasn't been exposed to this yet, but 30, 40, 37. It's pretty close on every part of the pipe, so I think it's doing fine. I don't need to really do that. All right, all that's done. Crude oil, put it at like a priority 9 and enable auto bottling. And then we're gonna have to get this pitcher pump back here. Make sure it's made out of something with an overheat temperature. Yeah, all these are plus 15 and then ceramics plus 200. So we're gonna have to make that a ceramic. Which sucks, but you know, it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Gotta happen, Captain. Once this actually fills up with petroleum, then they'll stop operating this and operate this. Yeah, I don't really understand it though, because I have like multiple operators, right? So LA is obviously our primary one, and then Catalina is our secondary. But Catalina like researches and then operates, but we don't have any research going. So what is Catalina doing? What are you doing, Catalina, huh? Why aren't you operating? Let's watch for a little bit. See what you're actually doing. You're making a long trip for something. Wow. Wow. Disable. You guys should not be disinfecting that crap. Come on. Come on, seriously? Seriously, that's not even in our base. Should be like automatically set to disable disinfect. We got polluted oxygen up here. No, dude, how did that happen? How did polluted oxygen sneak its way up here? Now we're gonna have this like, the Atmos sensor is gonna be sitting in this polluted oxygen forever, and it's just not gonna work. We're gonna need to set a backup water supply for this aqua tuner once it finishes, because when this doesn't get operated, you know, we run out of water, and well, running out of water is bad, and you need a constant supply of water. All right, one thing we can do is kind of plan out how this aqua tuner system is going to work. Even though we don't really have, I guess we can try. Okay, so this pipe is actually going to come from over here, I think. The output is going to go something like this. And the bridge can actually be made out of whatever you want, because water isn't actually stored inside the bridge. I learned this a while back. I used to think that water actually transferred its temperature to the bridge, but it like teleports the water, so it doesn't actually transfer any temperature. So we can use a bridge out of whatever. It doesn't have to be ceramic. So we're just going to use igneous. And then, so the output is going to go through a check. So we're going to go through a check here to make sure that it's of an agreeable temperature, right? And if it is of an agreeable temperature, then it will go through this shutoff onto our bristle farm. But if it is not, then it will go down into a reservoir. Okay, so we can kind of explain this. I don't have all the pipes set up, but you can just kind of imagine the pipes where they should be, hopefully. This actually doesn't need to be ceramic, so I'm not going to make it out of ceramic. The corner actually isn't, it's kind of irrelevant as far as temperature goes when it comes to one of these systems, so I'm just going to make it out of igneous rock to save on ceramic. Alright, so what's going to happen with this guy is that water is going to be, we're going to fill this reservoir up slightly. I guess we can delete those because we're not going to be using them. We're going to fill this reservoir up probably about halfway or so with water, and then the output will go over into the input of the aqua tuner. So we're going to be feeding the aqua tuner with this reservoir, and then it's going to be coming out here. And if it's below a certain temperature, then we're going to pump it out over here, which will be our bristle blossom farm. If it's not below a certain temperature, which is probably going to be around 5 degrees, then we're going to this is where the pipe's going to be down to this bridge. The bridge is going to go over to here. There's going to be another pipe that comes from this valve up and in to the reservoir here. That way the bridge will get priority. So if there's any water that hasn't been cooled down enough and it needs to go back into this reservoir, that will get priority over any water left in this pipe. And that's kind of important because whenever we activate this valve right here, we're going to activate this one as well. That way any water we take out of the reservoir, we're replacing with more water. That way the level of the reservoir always stays the same. We never run out. Right, so if it's not cold enough, it goes back into the reservoir, and then all of the temperature, all of the water in the reservoir will then average its temperature out. It will average the temperature out of all of the water in the reservoir. So we're only going to be lowering the temperature in this reservoir. Each packet's only going to be like 0.01 degrees or something. So we can get very precise with our output temperature. Because the next time it goes around, right, if it's, the aqua tuner lowers the water by 14 degrees. So if the packet coming through is 14 or 15 degrees and we throw it through this, it's then going to come out at 1 degree, right? So we can get very precise with the output temperature of our water. That way we can feed both bristle blossoms and sleet wheat with the same water, because we can put it at 5 degrees, which is the magic number. Oh, come on, Liam. Wait, Liam, this snazzy suit's for you, bro. Why aren't you putting it on? Oh wait, he already had a snazzy suit on. Okay, we'll give it to Turner. How is Liam doing on his engineer job? 68%. So we may not actually get this built this episode because Liam does have to train through all of it. Although I don't know, we're only halfway through. So yeah, actually, look, I think he started at like 30-something%, so like 38%. He's only done 20. One thing we could do is change his job priority to. We could change his priorities to operate. And if he started operating, then the skill would go up quicker. But then we wouldn't have a builder. Because Liam's our only builder right now. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. Food's still stable. I believe I was actually going down very slowly when I had 6 dupes. So, oh, I forgot we need to check for dupe here. No Ruby. But we got May with learning. And you know what? I'm just going to look at... May is so good. Small bladder is actually a good thing, by the way, guys, because they produce more water. They'll go to the bathroom more often, basically. May's got 3 learning and 3 tinkering, which is kind of nice. But May's going to be a builder anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let's just print May off. And go to priorities. Set May up with a build and dig job. And a combat as well. There you go. And then a secondary thing, I guess, if you're not building and digging, is operate, potentially. Sure, that's fine. You can do that. And then we need to take May here and stick her over into the apprentice dig job. We need to get her trained on digging ASAP. That way she can dig out granite and obsidian and abyssite and things. Dang you, Rickster. You and your dancing. Got Ruby killed. Where'd the other slicksters go? They bailed. After the crime was committed, they bailed. They're like, yo, let's get out of here, man. He's gonna realize it eventually. Let's book it. Oh, there's one. This guy took the risk. He's like, I'm gonna stick around. There's a lot of oil and stuff. I'll take the risk. It's worth it. The other slicksters, they're like, nah, man. I'm out of here. Unfortunately, the polluted oxygen really... I don't know how it got there. Was it always there? It may have always been there. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to finagle this a little bit better. So now we can bridge up to that, connect it like that, and then we'll have to rebuild this wire once the Atmos sensor gets done. That way we're testing the pressure down here instead of up at this polluted oxygen, which is just nonsense. What the heck happened here? Interesting, the gas pipe got damaged somehow. Not sure how that happened. I don't think I've ever had a gas pipe get damaged. There's a little bit of natural gas stored up, not a lot, but I don't think we're using too much. Where did the meter go? It disappeared. I've had this happen before though. So I don't know how actually full this thing is, and I don't know why it's doing that. But it is, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Huh, I wonder. So I've never tried to use polluted oxygen, but oxygen I know works as well, like instead of hydrogen. So I'm probably just gonna use polluted oxygen because we have tons of it around. I don't want to run a hydrogen line from, you know, all the way up in Narnia up there. We could use natural gas, but again, that's kind of powering this, so I don't want to really waste it. So I'm gonna try polluted oxygen in the turbine room instead of hydrogen. See, we've got some other gases in here. That's what's... So we're still going to have to vacuum this out because if there's multiple gas interactions with the steam, then it can cause issues and it won't actually run. So because we have chlorine in here, then we have to actually vacuum it out first. If it was all polluted oxygen, it's already at 2.2 kilograms, which isn't... It's a little bit over what I normally do, but it would work fine. I would just have to add a little more water. But so I'm gonna have to vacuum this out, and then we're gonna have to stick a pump in here, and then repump it with a filter on it, making sure that we only get polluted oxygen in there. Do we need to shut off the turbine for anything? I don't think we do, because the whole purpose of the turbine is to cool the aqua tuner. So I don't want to shut it off even if like our batteries are full, because that's not the main purpose of the turbine. We are gonna siphon off the extra power that it generates. We do have a vacillator over here. Now, if we could get sunny disposition on somebody else, that could be nice. So you know what? For some reason, Joshua's stressed. I don't know why. We're just going to stick Joshua on this thing. Hopefully I remember. Okay, Liam mastered the general engineer job, so we can now put him into electrical engineer. Yeah, run on that wheel. Go, Catalina, go. Go. Why aren't they putting on the snazzy suits? Liam. Wait, how does he have a snazzy... Did I duplicate snazzy suits? Alright, you know what? Let's just put this on Joshua, I guess. Says, Turner's assigned to this one. Joshua and Liam already have a snazzy suit. So, I don't know what happened there. It was like... Maybe he just switched suits? Maybe I had 3 suits? I think I only remember finding 2 snazzy suits. So how did I get 3? I think I duplicated a snazzy suit. When I switched and I said, Liam equip it and he dropped that one. I think I duplicated a snazzy suit. Huh. Duplicant's duplicating. Interesting. Just out of curiosity, I want to see this thing work. Oh, look at that. It's so beautiful. All right, let's turn it off. I love it, dude. I love it. Oh. Okay, so it's when natural gas is released that heats this up. All right. Well, then the water cooling things down isn't going to work too well, is it? Well, like everything else, let's just stick a Wheezewort in here. Call it good. Oh man, we've gone a little bit too far. Cycle 221. Okay. Well, I think that's been long enough for this episode. I don't want to go too long. Although I could probably go another 20 or 30 cycles before I had to get off and take a break. Honestly, I'm having fun. But anyway, that's probably going to be the end of this episode. I don't feel like we really made a whole lot of progress. I might play like in between episodes just a little bit because I feel like the videos are going kind of slow and I'm not really making a whole lot of progress in between. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are the episodes kind of slowing down? Are they getting like less boring or more boring, or are they still entertaining? You can let me know in the comments below because I'm kind of unsure. I'm thinking about just playing a little bit in between episodes. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Let me know you like it. And hey, if you do like it and you want to see more, maybe consider hitting that big red button right down at the bottom there and subscribing to the channel. That way, any future videos that I release will show up in your subscriptions feed, and yeah, you'll be able to watch them like as soon as I release them, which is awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.